The regular meeting of the Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees is called to order on June 11, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. Can I get roll call, please?
Fallsgraf here.
Mazer.
Brianna Taxoni here. I feel like I'm so very loud. Did I get turned up? Agenda for the regular meeting, June 11th, 2025. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. There are no updates or changes to tonight's agenda.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mazer.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Flag salute. Hey, kiddo. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. What's your name, bud? What was that? Would you like to lead us in the flag salute?
That's a yes.
Just stand up, you're good.
Okay, sorry I put you on the spot. Ready, begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ken, would you like to read the civility statement?
Thank you. In conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you. 3, public comments, recognition, and reports. Dr. Sahakian?
There are no public comment cards in person nor online. Thank you.
Thank you. 4A, ADA representative? Not here. CSCA representative? And Superintendent Report.
All right. Thank you. I'll wait for Mr. Alex. Thank you. As we concluded the 25-26 school year last Friday, I do want to take a moment to celebrate the many accomplishments of our students and staff across our district. Throughout the district, we proudly recognize important milestones, beginning with our very first kindergarten promotion at Little Owls Learning Center, followed by the Meadowlark 4th grade promotion that you see up on your screen, High Desert School's 8th grade promotion, and culminating with the graduation of Vasquez High School class of 2026. We are incredibly proud of all that was accomplished this year. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to our Board of Trustees for their governance, leadership, unwavering focus on student success. Their commitment to ensuring the best possible opportunities for every student continues to guide the work of our district. I would be remiss if I did not recognize Trustee Mr. Fallsgraf, as these culminating ceremonies marked his 10th year of service on the AADUSD Board of Trustees. Thank you, trustees. Thank you, Mr. Fallsgraf, for your service. It's very photogenic, and that's sincere.
Really, payday is coming very soon.
All right, moving forward. As part of our ongoing commitment to community engagement, I had the pleasure of meeting earlier this week with Mr. John Odell, husband of Mrs. Margaret Gonder Odell. In honor of Mrs. Gonder Odell, a true AADUSD living legend whose impact continues to be felt throughout our community, Mr. John Odell is establishing the Margaret Gonder Legacy Fund. The fund is intended to provide ongoing financial support and opportunities that benefit the Acton community and the students of today, while also helping newer generations learn about Mrs. Gonder Odell's remarkable contributions as a former Meadowlark principal and interim superintendent. We look forward to sharing additional information as this meaningful initiative develops. So I'll be happy to provide updates with my superintendent report starting in August. All right, my third and final item this evening will be presented by Mrs. Elizabeth Ortiz, our licensed clinical social worker for We Care AADUSD. Mrs. Ortiz will provide highlights of recent district-wide activities and services pertaining to their team, along with data that showcases the positive impact and support being provided to students and families throughout our district. Without further ado, Mrs. Ortiz. Thank you.
Good evening. Can I just say that was an iconic photo of you guys, and it should be up here in our boardroom. And yours too, up there, just yours.
In the middle.
Well, good evening again. I'm Elizabeth Ortiz. This is my amazing team. You guys know my amazing team. Ms. Shaniqua Emma, who's a therapist at Vasquez High School. Ms. Alondra Conde, therapist and coverage preceptor at High Desert Middle School. Zuli Quesada, therapist and field supervisor at High Desert. And Ms. Emma Reyes, she was part of the team who worked at Meadowlark, but now she's focusing on growing her family, so I can't be mad about that, but we all miss her. And she did actually attend the Meadowlark graduation. These are our two fabulous interns that we had, Roberto Landaverde from USC and Ms. Alondra de la Cruz from CSUN. So some of the services that we provided this year was the face-to-face therapeutic sessions on our campuses, the group therapy programs, staff training on mental health and wellness, and then we had the caregiver workshops in partnership with DMH. Those dedicated sessions were designed for families. They were interactive workshops. We had bilingual support for English and Spanish, and we focused on resilience and well-being. And that's a picture of some of our really amazing parents that showed up to every single workshop this year. So they did receive a certificate at the end of the year. Professional development, so the team just attended, well, we attended various trainings through the whole year via virtual and in-person sessions, and then we did attend in in April, the Trauma-Informed Skills for Educators and CERT. This is with our grant facilitator, Ms. Stacy Newton, and we were able to obtain more training on just emergency services and how best to work with our students. Every week, I held individual supervision with each of our therapists, and I had group supervision protocols that maintained our mandates. So some of our data for this year, we had 112 individual consents for students across of our campuses, and this is for anything from anxiety, depression, anger management, the list goes on. Student contacts for crisis, agency and contacts, case management was over 100 students. We had a girls group, and that was 11 students that attended that girls group on our High Desert campus. We had 150 restorative groups. This was for all of High Desert Middle School. Those groups range from 2 to 9 students in each group. Some of the reasons for the group, 1 to 2 time restorative practice groups, friendship challenges, bullying prevention, fight prevention, drug prevention, and socio-emotional skills. We had a 10-week leadership group. This was our girls group. 4 class lessons, school support, getting to know the counseling team, bullying prevention, healthy relationships. We had cyberbullying prevention before spring break. Parent workshops, we held 10 of those. Coffee with a counselor, which was with Zuli, we had 3. And then we had a school-wide drug prevention program with Drug Free World with teachers, staff, and parents. And some of the data that's not listed is actually our suicide risk assessments and our threat assessments. For the whole year, we conducted 54 suicide risk assessments where students were a threat to themselves. And then we had 9 threat assessments, and this is where they were a threat to others. Our Mental Health Awareness Month was in May, and we provided every single student on every single campus a ducky. It was a mental health ducky that lights up, and then we had Float Like a Ducky mental health reminders. At this time, I'm going to pass actually out one to you guys on the board. You guys can see as I.
Thank you, thank you.
And the students really enjoyed the duckies. I was really surprised. Actually, the high schoolers loved them, and they were even asking, when do I get mine, from their teachers. So it was something that they were able to talk about. It's just a reminder of like what mental health is. Let's talk about it. Let's end the stigma. That's one of the pictures from the elementary school that's on this site. Oops, there we go. And then every staff member received a small lotion. So this is a mental health lotion, and it was just a reminder that for them to check in with themselves. Our teachers are amazing. We have some of the most dedicated teachers. You know, we have teachers that come in early just to meet with our students, or they stay later because students want to talk to them. A lot of our staff, you know, take care of our students so much that they forget to take care of themselves. So we also remind the teachers, you know, you got to take care of yourselves. These are some of the pictures from Mental Health Spirit Week. We had different days that signified mental health. It's amazing because in the photo on the bottom, you know, Mr. Spillman, we had some of our teachers that I even put up on my own social media, and I had alumni reaching out like, that teacher's still there, they're still there, and now they're wanting to reach back to those teachers. You know, I remember the teachers taking us out on the field and exploring for field day, so it's just amazing to see, you know, everyone circle back to those teachers that had a big impact on them. That's my son. He was actually sitting in your seat, so he actually may have messed your volume up. So he was, you know, he was my little bottle for the day. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. I often have to take off my personal days and come into work just to bring him into work so he feels like he's working with me. But you'll see him passing around. He loves to bring fruit snacks to all the students. So that's him. And that's my presentation. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to everyone. I feel like you guys have been big supporters of our program since we started. Miss Yolanda, she did so much. She has done so much with just getting all of our supplies, getting our name out there. Dr. Sahakian has been there from before I even started with all of the grants. And then, you know, you board, you've been amazing with just supporting our program, and all of our teachers and our students. You can see by the numbers, we have reached so many students on campus, and I often get calls from parents just calling and saying, I don't know why I'm calling you, this is what I need, can you help me? So a lot of the time, even the numbers, not even included in the numbers are, you know, parents that were reaching out for resources like housing, or just, you know, if they were going through a crisis or a medical concern and they just needed our support as a social worker. So these services are amazing. So I just want to say thank you so much. And that's, any questions?
I'll cover you in my board member comments as soon as I get done addressing the photograph issues.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for everything your team has done for my kids and grandkids. They're there for them, and it's helped a lot. Thank you.
Welcome.
I feel like so many people don't even know what you do until they need you. And so thank you for being there for not just our kids, but our staff and their families and our community as well. This is something that our school hasn't always had. A couple of years ago, we had one counselor for the whole district, one counselor, and that was the only form of mental health, anything that our school was able to offer. So thank you to you for building this team and doing all of these amazing things. I also want to thank Dr. Sahakian for bringing in the grant and really standing behind the mental health, counseling, social services whole drive in our district. The first conversation that I had with Dr. Sahakian was about mental health counseling and what I felt our school was lacking. I was brand new, he was brand new, and it has changed so much in the last 5 years. So thank you for building all of this. How long have you been doing this? Do you
A
know?
full 3 years. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll be going on my
that's
fourth.
what I thought. It hasn't been very long.
Hasn't been long,
And you've
but there's been a
built
lot.
this. That's incredible. This looks like just a well-oiled machine, and you guys are just filling a huge need, and you just built all of this in such a short amount of time, and you're just really incredible. So thank you, and thank you to your team.
Thank you. And you're right, the counselors, they're amazing too. And, when we came in, they had a whole list of the areas of need. So I feel like without them, we wouldn't have gotten to the need part. So I want to thank them as well too. So thank you.
Facilities Finance Subcommittee report.
Facilities and Finance Subcommittee has not met since our last meeting. We will be meeting on the 30th at 4 p.m. before the school board meeting, or the special school board meeting. Thank you.
All right, Education Subcommittee report. We met on June 1st. We had a pretty detailed presentation and discussion with our past student board member, Autumn Klaus. And we talked about social emotional learning program and VHS start times and all kinds of things that Autumn wanted to tackle and discuss while she was our student board member, which she did a fantastic job of. So we will continue looking into that. Future agenda items, we're going to continue talking about the SEL program at Vasquez. We're going to talk about the advisory period and everything that entails, and really just deep dive into the things that Autumn did bring up for us to discuss. I believe our next meeting isn't until August, right? We're done for the summer? We're done for the summer. Policy and Management Subcommittee report.
Nothing to report.
Okie dokie. 5A, approval of consent calendar items 5B through 5L. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Sahakian?
Thank you, President Taxoni. There's quite a bit here. If there are any items through letter K that I'm happy to respond to or point out any clarification or questions, I'm happy to do so.
I would like to pull item J for discussion. Short of that, I move that we approve the consent calendar items A through K, except for item J.
Okay. Any more discussion? Call it for question for B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L. Ken? Call for question.
Falls draft I.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Okay, I will move in item J. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
move.
Okay.
Superintendent, frame this for us, please.
Thank you. So Ms. Sherry Shannon is not a stranger to AADUSD as far as her consulting for charter support and services, in particular when it's time for charter renewals or new petitions. She will support the Director of Charter Services, Ms. Shay Pattison, specifically in the review of the documents when it comes to the charter governance and the academic components for the petition.
Discussion?
The reason I pulled this is because sometimes when these charters come in here, you'll see me particularly doing different things. I might ask a bunch of questions. I might remain silent. I might vote yes. I might abstain. This level of support is not a partisan level. It doesn't, the staff doesn't look at me and try to figure out what I'm thinking and what comes next or any of that. There's a matrix depending on whether it's a new submittal, a renewal, or whatever, and that matrix is what this consultant looks at from a third-party source that has a lot of experience in that world. That world is very different than our world, but the end game on all of these worlds is that students are educated and go out into the world to become as independent as they can be, as employable and self-sufficient and able to find through their own agency, their own destiny. That's why we're here. So when staff makes a recommendation to this board, and you see something up here, I'm going to use the last one for an example. You had 2 members abstain, you had 1 absent, and you had 2 that voted yes to support the staff recommendation. So that is no indication that the consultant and our own staff are doing anything but looking at what the matrix is. The matrix is very, very stringent. If you miss some, if you overlook something, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you can be in violation of the state or county offices of education. And you can create liability for yourself up here as an individual if you go against the grain when there's no grain to go against. So Sherry Shannon has been doing this for a while. I haven't heard complaints or service failings coming in. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, Sherry, for the work you do. Thank you for being stringent in operating the lane that you fit in.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, call for question. All those in favor?
Falls Graph, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 6A, Personnel Report 25-26.16. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. There are no updates or changes to the PAR as posted. However, there are 3 notable mentions this evening, if I may, Board. Thank you. Excited to announce Dr. Peter Palacios as our dual language immersion Spanish teacher for our inaugural cohort here at Little Owls in the fall for Spanish Kinder. Excited for that. So yet another signature program here at AADUSD. Looking forward to that. In addition, Miss Gabby Scheidig on her retirement. I want to say she's been here with us for maybe 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, and at Meadowlark. And I have to say quite sincerely, the moment that I stepped into her classroom, I was just flooded with kindness and graciousness by Miss Scheidig. And she showed that to her students day in and day out. And the engagement level was always on. And I know her students, staff, community, parents, everyone does love Miss Gabby Scheidig. So I want to make that announcement as well. And last but not least, Mrs. Maela Salcedo. She's here with us with her family, our new Chief Business Officer, pending approval of the PAR, of course, this evening. She comes to us with a breadth of fiscal experience, K-12 for many, many years, a high-level fiscal experience. And she's here with her family, and I want to say welcome to you, to your family as well. And I do believe that you are soccer enthusiasts. Yes? World Cup? Yes? There you go. Got a smile on his face now. So welcome. We're looking forward to the work and the experience and expertise that you'll lend to AADUSD.
Not yet, no, thank you.
Welcome. I'm so sorry that I put you on the spot. I always pick on kids when they come in here, so I apologize. Maybe next time. We're glad to have you, so welcome to the district. I do want to say Gabby Scheidig is one of the most incredible teachers my kids ever had. My oldest had her for 3rd grade and 4th grade, and she literally changed his life, changed the whole trajectory of his school career. She was fantastic with him. She's a fantastic human being, a wonderful friend, amazing teacher. She'll be missed in our district. So call for question. All those in favor?
Falls Graph, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. B, approval settlement agreement, CSEA and Acton-Agua Dulce, chapter number and CSEA and Acton-Agua Dulce, chapter 473 and Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District bus aids. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. This settlement as attached, there are 3 employees who have worked more than 20 consecutive days as a bus aide. The district could not fill these positions, therefore, the 3 classified positions that are listed as attached will permanently hold these positions moving forward if approved. Thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Falls, Gruff, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. C, approval memorandum of understanding between CSEA, Acton-Agua Dulce Chapter Number 473, and Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District contracting bus drivers. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So the MOU is attached. The highlights of the as of the following. This has been brought up to the board in the past. This is really an extension through the end of this calendar year, December 31st of 26. But these are some of the highlights. District shall first offer all trips to bargaining unit members. District agrees that any bus deemed unsafe shall be taken out of service and repaired. District shall compensate bargaining unit members for trips that were contracted out of the unit prior to the ratification of this MOU. Effective upon ratification of this MOU, parties agree district may contract out trips if the number of trips exceeds the number of operable buses in the district. The contracting out to charters under this MOU shall not cause a CSEA bargaining unit member's contracted time to be reduced. And I mentioned, like I did before, this MOU, if approved, is really something that's been approved in the past, but this is an extension through December 31st of 26.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Falls, Gruff, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. D, approval memorandum of understanding between CSEA, Acton-Agua Dulce Chapter Number 473, and Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District contracting mechanic duties. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Essentially, this MOU outlines that CSEA and the district may contract out for mechanic services the CSEA unit is not able to perform. This MOU, again, will remain in effect through this calendar year, December 31st, 26th, as the other MOU that was just approved. Thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Falls, Gruff, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 7A, approval of local control and accountability report and LCAP local indicators 2026-27 school year. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Dr. Paula Chamberlain, Director of Ed Services, she presented the updated LCAP along with the LCAP indicators at our last board meeting, June 1st. During public hearing, we recommend approval as presented, please.
Discussion?
Have there been any changes to the material that was presented to us that's going to be presented to the county?
Yes, there have been some updates. We participate with LACO in a pre-review process voluntarily, and they provide feedback to us ongoing, and as they provide feedback, I update it.
But that feedback that they gave you was based on your presentation to us, and then that happened?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Call for question.
Falls, Gruff, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. B, approval proposal HMH Education Co. not to exceed $388,323.94. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. If approved, this will be ELA textbook adoption for our grades 5th through 12th. The funding source will be through the Student Support and Professional Development Block Grant one-time funds. Thank you.
Discussion?
One more time on that. What is this for?
It will be ELA textbook adoption for our grades 5th through 12th grade.
Perfect, thank you.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Falls, Gruff, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 8A, presentation audit report 2024-25 school year. Dr. Sahaki.
Thank you. The district's independent auditors that we've used since I've been here, and I think prior to that, Christie White and Associates identified 4 audit findings for the 24-25 fiscal year. While findings are never ideal, we know that, these findings are primarily related to procedures and reporting practices and processes. The findings provide an opportunity to strengthen systems, improve oversight, and implement additional checks and balances moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and summarize the 4 findings for our board as well as our AADUSC community. Finding 1, financial reporting and year-end closing procedures. These includes the areas that I'm going to report out now: ASB accounting practices, child nutrition documentation and reporting, CalSTRS contribution reporting, and certain year-end closing procedures with business services. Finding highlights opportunities to strengthen internal controls and fiscal processes. Finding 2, late filing of audit report. Audit report was filed later than required. During a period of transition with business services, I stepped in to assist with audit preparation and document collection. Gathering supported documentation took longer than anticipated, unfortunately. However, throughout this process, I remained in communication with Christie White and Associates, as well as our LACO liaisons. Moving forward, improved fiscal staffing and oversight will prevent future delays. Finding 3, classroom teacher salaries. State law requires districts to spend at least 55% of current expense of education on classroom teacher salaries. AADUSC expended approximately 52.5%. This finding was anticipated. The board previously approved a California Education Agency exemption in September 2025 at a board meeting in September addressing this issue. No additional financial impact to the district beyond the finding itself. Last but not least, finding number 4, unduplicated LCFF pupil counts. This is related to free reduced price meal eligibility. Data entered into CalPADS. Auditors reviewed a random sampling of 60 student applications. Out of the 60, 10 students were incorrectly entered as qualifying when they did not meet eligibility requirements. This issue was determined as an entry error. Historically, district's unduplicated pupil percentage is approximately 68 to 69%, give or take. The errors reported percentage for 24-25 was approximately 74%, so about 5% off. This resulting in approximately $153,000 in excess LCFF funding. District has historically budgeted using the lower 68-69% rates and does not rely on the inflated percentage for budget development, and this includes the 26-27 budget proposal that I presented at a previous board meeting, and I believe it's up for adoption tonight. The 26-27 budget proposal is based on the 68 to 69% unduplicated pupil count. Moving forward, district will return approximately $153,000 to the state because that was the 74% allocation that came to us in 25-26 fiscal year. Nonetheless, this correction does not create a structural budget concern for the district moving forward. Nonetheless, overall, the findings point to the need for stronger internal controls and review of processes within business services. We have already begun addressing these issues. Our incoming chief business official, of course, will play an important role in strengthening fiscal procedures, oversight, and accountability. So I'm glad to see that you're here, Ms. Salcedo. We have some work ahead of us. We view the audit process as an opportunity for continuous improvement and remain committed to implementing all corrective actions within the 4 audit findings. The district remains fiscally stable and focused on maintaining strong stewardship of public resources. Thank you.
Discussion?
I have a couple items. Can we pull up item 3 in this audit? My question is basically, this is a comparative by percentage calculation, I would assume.
Correct.
So if we have people teaching out of classification, if we have student teachers, if we have any number of those things. I don't discuss personnel issues. But say, for example, there's other parts of the budget, like the Facilities and Finance Committee have onboarded projects, there's been buses, so we're looking at the entire budget, correct?
That is correct.
So there might be years in which you're floating the line or slightly over,
True.
which means that unlike the first year that I was here and we were spending almost $500 per student funding on charter lawyers, that would tend to create some glitches similar to this. I want everyone to know that the superintendent's salary negotiation is for a percentage per year. There is no Me Too. This budget is not characterized by the admin staff who sit over there except Yolanda. I'm leaving you out of this characterization of this group who's normally whatever you call it. So this is not an indicator that we're underpaying our, we got union reps in here. Does anybody feel underpaid or abused? You don't have to answer that question. So I don't want this running up to flagpole, because if you run this up to flagpole, you'll find that I am the one giving the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, young man, for giving us the Pledge of Allegiance. I have never in my entire experience as a school board member felt so stirred about the American flag until you said of our Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Thank you. Could I have some applause for this young man? There you go. Next, this free and reduced lunch program. I have never liked the way this is characterized. I have never liked, I remember days in which there were two different lines. You would stand in this line and you would stand in this line. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? If you could get free and reduced lunch program, you stood with those kids while the kids wearing Jimmy Choo shoes felt more important than anyone else. That's where society goes bad. Functionally, the sampling, it's my understanding that they take a random, possibly even a computer-generated sampling.
It is a random sampling with our internal auditors, yes.
So if I were foolish enough to ask the people that do the random sampling, because if I asked them to do the sampling several times until the right scenario popped up, this is not slot machines in Vegas where you're playing against the odds. This is the sampling they took. This is what came up with that sampling. Could we agree that if unless you sample all of the students, analyze all of the data on all the students, you could do 3-4 different samples and come up with a different result? Is that possible?
There's that possibility, sure.
So there could have been other years where the sampling, a different sampling, could have generated a different result, up or down for us. Correct?
That's correct.
So this is a more of an indicator that the three cherries didn't come up on the slot machine this year.
It's one analogy, yes.
Don't try to use my theoreticals. They only work in my mind. But at the end of the day, this does anything but says that we're turning in fake numbers. It is what it is. My understanding is that this will affect what we have to pay back. Is that right?
Yes, for the 26-27, it'll be less 153.
And it's the assumption that we might carry forward.
Carry forward the 153 that was provided to us?
Could that possibly become a trend?
I mean, there's
Depends on
carryover,
the
of course,
sampling,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So in the worst case scenario, we might find that the district is not having to support free and reduced lunch for a percentage of the community, to the point where we would lose the $300,000 collective funding. Is that reasonable?
Yes.
So it'd be reasonable that there are an increase in number of families that are self-sufficient in the community.
There's always that possibility, yes.
And understanding that the district does not generate the funding, and that it comes from somewhere else, the net to the district, short of the the payback in arrears is 0.
Correct.
Do you follow me? Oh my God, put up historical marker. This is the first person that's ever followed anything I said, and the kid's wonderful. At Pledge of Allegiance, we're going to find out what you do, sir, very quickly here. Welcome aboard. Yeah, so this is nothing but averages and data as it comes up and it reports out, and I'll have some comments about carryover funding at the end of this. Thank you, that's what I have.
Thank you.
Okay. As far as the audit findings, I did have a lengthy discussion with Dr. Sahakian already, so I won't go into all of that, but I do happen to sit with auditors in my job. I'm going to say this as kindly as possible because today Ken is Mr. Congeniality over there, and I appreciate that. But when we're talking about pulling cherries on slots, when it comes to auditors, how do we guarantee that we pull all the cherries on the slots when it comes to what the auditors are going to pull? There's a correct answer. You put the information in correctly. All 100 or 60 or 400 applications get entered into the system correctly and accurately. Then whatever sample they pull, it's going to be accurate. If you don't put them in accurately, then sure, if you pull these, some could be wrong, and if you pull these, some could be wrong. If you put them all in and double check it and triple check it, and they're all correct, no matter what sample you pull, none of them are going to be wrong. It's not gambling when it comes to the auditor auditing our applications that are being put into the system. They were entered incorrectly, and they just happened to pull the ones that were entered incorrectly. I did this when I worked for this school district. I do it at my school district. When we get audited, the auditor sits there, he asks me to pull a sample of 20 students, their attendance, their master agreements, and if they're not correct, we get an audit finding. When they're correct, we don't get an audit finding. I've never had an audit finding because I double and triple check my work. I don't know where that went wrong, but I did have a lengthy discussion with Dr. Sahakian that double, triple checking, having somebody else check, implementing checks and balances, this shouldn't happen. These are really easy fixes. It shouldn't happen. So I am going to expect to see 0 audit findings next year because this cannot happen. And the ones that say that it's happened before, that's one is too many. So 4 audit findings is way too many. Having 20 that were incorrect out of a sample of 60 is bonkers. That were the numbers, right? 10 out of 60, still bonkers. 1 out of 60 is bonkers. It's only 60. You could go in and recheck. We have to do better. We have to set the bar here, and then we have to raise the bar. We can't just say, oh, well, it's 4 audit findings. No, not oh, well. Not oh, well, it's 1 audit finding. That's crazy, and it cannot happen. We have to set the bar higher for ourselves. We're a small enough district where you can go in kid by kid and make sure that all of their stuff is correct. We don't have 50,000 kids. We don't have 50,000 applications coming in. We can have one person take a day and go check it, have another person take a day, go check it. Double check our work and make sure that everything is correct. That is a really, really big pet peeve. I know you know it's my biggest pet peeve is having errors like that, and it's costing us money, and that's really frustrating. They could come and say, you know what, you had 10 out of 60 incorrect, I want to see them all. Now we're not going to do a sample, I want to see them all, and it could cost us big money. We can't have that. So that has to be fixed. Next year, we're going to high five when we have 0 audit findings. That's what I'm putting it out into the universe now, 0 audit findings. And that's all I have to say about that. Any other discussion? 8B, approval of the budget for the 2026-27 school year. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. As presented at our June 1st meeting via public hearing, in detail, I recommend the board to approve the 26-27 proposed budget as a positive certification.
Discussion?
It's up on the screen. Short of that, nothing.
Anything, Bill? Call for question. All those in favor?
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 8C, approval, summer projects 2026. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, through our Facilities and Finance Subcommittee, the facilities and summer projects were discussed at length prior to bringing them up for discussion and presentation and approval at this evening's board meeting. And with that said, I'll kindly invite Mr. Mora, our Director of Maintenance, Operations, and Transportation, to discuss the summer projects. There's plenty of work ahead in a short amount of time, but I know he's very passionate about this work. And so with that, Mr. Mora.
I want to start off with saying thank you, board members, for everything you guys do, and good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will be presenting the 2026 summer projects. Over the course of the year, I have talked about the projects with the subcommittee, and all school site projects have been presented to the subcommittee. The projects were picked from a capital facilities list that we put together. We went through the list and chose the most important ones. Tonight, it will be going for board approval. I want to start off with Little Owls. We're going to be doing some asphalt work to make it safer for students and staff. We're going to be replacing some carpets. We're going to be doing new furniture for 2 classrooms. This is going to be to new enrollment that we're going to have. We're going to have 2 more classrooms for kinder. We're also going to be replacing the flooring in the transportation area to open space for the students. For Vasquez High School, we're going to be doing some asphalt work to make it safer for students and staff. We're going to be doing stained concrete at Vasquez High School on Building 200. For Meadowlark Elementary, we're going to be doing some asphalt work as well to make it safer for students and staff. Meadowlark Elementary, we're going to be replacing carpets. High Desert School, we're going to be painting doors for all buildings. We're going to be replacing carpets for 2 classrooms in the library, and we're going to be replacing the roof in the girls' locker room. The total amount of this project is going to be $279,373.54. That's all I have for these projects. Do you guys have any questions for me?
For the Vasquez asphalt, did you get that price or look into the price to take out those center medians?
Yes, that's going to be presented to the subcommittee.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might want to hold off on the asphalt slurry work till that gets presented and maybe approved if, I don't know if we can do it on the 30th, but we don't want to do the asphalt work and then tear it apart to do the other. So if not, then I guess we continue it.
Well,
We could amend and remove the asphalt work pending that piece, unless you want to go ahead and share the proposal for the asphalt, not the asphalt, for the median work, because I do believe you have that quote as well, correct?
yes, I have it. It's around, it's in my office.
Okay.
You want me to?
So-
It's right, I will
Right.
go get it right now.
So just a background on that, with the medians at Vasquez upper parking lot, I've seen way too many people going over them. We're gonna cause car damage. We're gonna have issues with that, so.
But
we're
I
looking
believe it's
into-
around $900 more to remove it
Okay,
and do the actual asphalt.
900,
$900 extra. It's 4 areas that need to be taken out.
right.
So based on your comment, And it's a board decision to make an addendum to the summer project to add the medians to be part of the proposal, is what I'm hearing.
Looking at me,
I mean, I would like to make an addendum if we can, but is that something we can do?
the formulation of this list is a function of the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee. The list would not exist without their work. So I look to the recommendation of the Facilities and Finance Committee members. That's how I'll make my decision tonight. So let's stop for a second. Bill, tell me what you do in your day job, or should I have your son who's in the audience? Do you need to be part of the We Care program? Because who is in here of their own volition at a night that's a teenager? Are you really here? Anyway, tell us what you do and what you're responsible for in your day job that feeds this young man who doesn't appear to be starving.
I'm a director of construction of multifamily projects of 200 to 300 unit buildings and oversee all the construction aspects of it.
Are any of those buildings unlocked tonight? I'm looking for a place to stay. Thank you, Bill.
So, as stated, I think it's in the best interest to remove the median, so if we can add that to our,
Will do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me what you're talking about removing the median?
so when you come into the upper parking lot, and then all of a sudden there's like the little concrete areas that are like planters in front of you by the football field and all that. I've seen a lot of people that, especially visiting people, that drive over them and basically can ruin their vehicles. So if we take them out, it's a lot easier to get in.
Ones like the parking lot is like this and like that, and you park right here.
Yeah.
So just take these things out.
Yeah, when you come into the parking lot, so it's not a, yeah.
The parking lot is different levels, so that won't, like, I know on like where the softball field is, like the parking lot is.
Yeah, it's just the ones in the main parking lot, so it's not, as you come into the parking lot, there's the round. No,
Yeah, it's for planters.
yeah, there's little planters, but.
Should we return this to the subcommittee for further discussion?
No, I'm not, I'm only questioning what you're talking about. I'm not
I
questioning.
have another question on top of yours, Miss Congeniality, really. I sense that you don't think 900 is that like too high?
I think 900 is too low, unless it's 900 a planter, then that could be,
No, I believe it's 900 for all four.
Ooh. Anyway, Bill, I've said this again, bell tone, get your hearing aids on, crank them up. I depend on the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee to make these decisions and do the groundwork. I'll have some stuff like that in my year-end summary and my board reports. But if $900, if there's a change order for 8 times $500 or 4 times, I'm going to blame Bill is what I'm going to do. That's the way those politics work. So, Bill, tell me what you want to do.
I would like to see that proposal, please, at the Facilities
Yeah.
Finance Committee, and then if we can put it back on the agenda, that part for the 30th, potentially. I mean, it's gonna be the same day, I don't know if that's feasible or not. But if we don't, then it won't be done this summer.
Can we do an amendment to this and say, okay, well, I'm gonna amend this and we're gonna approve the extra money to do whatever it is that you wanna do, remove the planters. And then if you guys decide not to do that, we can always go backwards and not pay for that, and we can vote to amend this and approve this with your amended higher cost.
Yeah,
And then just not do it later if you guys choose on the 30th to not do that. Is that okay?
We're looping. So I remember the days when there was no proactive maintenance. I remember the days when there was never a budget put forward where the projects, can we put the projects back up on the screen, please, IT? Where there was never this, there were odd fund balances going on at the end to make it look like the district had no money when it come time to negotiate with staff. I remember those days. This is more of an informational item that makes commitment to the community by showing it on the screen. I did notice that there is duplication of task along different campuses. So you're pulling the paving crew into all the schools. That's good. I remember this campus when half the rooms over there that are now filled by our own students to capacity was held up by DSA because it wasn't approved. And we were renting rooms out by the half to charters to make it look like they were too full to operate in the community so we could go steal money in San Bernardino. Am I making myself clear? This is an informational item to me, and I appreciate all the work that's done, including do you guys know how a penny was invented, or copper wire was invented? Does anyone know? It was Brianna and Bill fighting over a penny. And you just witnessed it tonight, okay? That's all I have. Please do whatever you want, Bill.
Bill, you already motioned to include it, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and second your motion. Can we now amend this to include the extra to remove the medians in the parking lot, and then we'll go ahead and vote on this all together with the amendment. So now do we need to vote on the amendment? Let's vote on the amendment.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Watch this. This is politics, people. Abstain. No, I'll vote yes.
Oh, wait,
That would have hung the vote, and it would have been no vote,
Okay.
okay?
Mays, aye.
Brianna, aye. Okay, so now we'll vote on the whole thing with the amendment. It's already been moved by me, second by Bill. Call for question, all those in favor.
Falls draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Holy moly. Thank you, Ernesto. That should not have been this hard.
Sorry.
You're welcome. Now I'm going to my second presentation.
Oh, sorry. D, approval High Desert and Little Owls Learning Center projects. I'll move it in.
I'll second.
Okie dokie.
Tonight I will be presenting the presentation for High Desert and Little Owls. Over the course of the year, I talked about the projects with the subcommittee, and I first presented it to the subcommittee. We went through the list, we picked out the most important ones. Tonight, we'll be going for board approval. For High Desert School, we're going to be doing concrete work behind Building 2 to make it safer for students and staff. We'll be doing floor replacement inside the multi-purpose room. It needs to be done. It's the original floor since the site was built. We're going to be doing asphalt work down on the basketball courts to fill in the cracks to make it safer for students and staff as well. For Little Owls, we're going to be taking out the wood chips and installing a safety rubber padding to make it safer for the little students. This project is not going to affect the budget. It is money left over from the last year. It is going to be $191,665. Last year, I had a remaining of $195,846. That's all I have for these projects. Is there any questions for me?
Can we do Groundhog Day and do the exact same questions as the last item? No? Okay. So there was a time in my career where I was the one that went to court when kids got hurt on playgrounds. Let's go back to that list, please. Thank you. The safety rubber at my only thing is that if we're going to put that stuff in, there are impact tests that need to happen. So they take, this is this is rocket science. You take a weight and you like drop it from a certain ladder. Even I can do this, and when it dents, that stuff will get you in trouble if you don't maintain it. When the sales rep tries to sell you all these weird stars and patterns, get the stuff that's like the Goodyear stuff that you can patch and not have, because this is not about looks. It's not about what I saw at the Bamboo Conference in Belize and the design. It's about making sure the kids stay safe and maximizing the life of that product. Again, we have repetition in the concrete and paving, people coming along, which gives us value in the scope and scale of the project. Thank you.
Mr. Moore did show us samples of this product, and it did look like a good product. And like you said, if we can do a safety drop test, that'd be great.
Yes, will do.
I don't have any questions because I got in trouble last time. All right, call for question. All those in favor?
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. E, approval year-end appropriation transfers. I'll move. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The year-end appropriation transfers for K-12 districts is agendized annually, so here we're bringing it back. It authorizes LACO to identify deficits and make budget transfers on district's behalf, permitting payment of obligations at the close of the school year. This authority requires approval from district school boards. Thank you.
Discussion?
As I referred to earlier, this is not the trucker method where we keep two logbooks, one of them real, one of them we do odd balance transfers at the end of the year. I referenced the mechanism of making it look like the district is poor by hiding money over here and over there, and then suddenly, once the audit is approved and the county says, okay, you move the money back, and I sat up here my first couple. I spent 5 years out in that audience before I got up here, so I know the game. Is there any game like that in here?
No.
Is there any financial confession that you would like to give? I can absolve you of your sins if you'd like to, speak to me about financial things, because this person over here is not going to take on anybody else's baggage. If I were the new CBO, I would not. Anything? This is a come to Jesus moment if you need it.
No confessions. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Not at this time.
One more thing. Can I call you Ms. Money, Mrs. Money, whatever? Okay, this is your last chance. Do you want to be here? Because this is normal. Okay, cool.
It's not. It gets so much worse.
Oh, no, I expect robust discussions where I come from, where I work. The superintendent here is like the city manager. We can have robust discussions and open discussions about where things might need to move to make sure that the playground passes the impact test, which, by the way, has a frequency. We don't just do it once. Okay, cool. Thank you. There was a lot there. Actually, nothing but time. Go ahead.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Okay, 9, board comments. Mr. Fallsgraf.
Oh, I have. First off, Gabby Scheidig was Tammy's teacher 3 or 4 times. Gabby Scheidig, whether it was a wonderful day, whether it was a challenging day, Gabby Scheidig was the ultimate professional. If you don't know Gabby Scheidig, you should know Gabby Scheidig, and it should be your life's goal to have the patience and character that Gabby Scheidig has. Now, I will tell you about Miss Gonder. Who knows Miss Gonder? Miss Gonder was from Texas. I used to move drilling rigs in Texas. It's not a quaint place generally. People say what they mean, they do what they say, and they always have a handgun under the front seat of their pickup. So these are people that built this country. I moved to Acton. It was green when I drove out here. It was very green. No one told me that 3 weeks later it would be brown and rattlesnakes would be crawling around on the ground. I went to school to find out where my daughter Kendra, who just graduated from law school, was going to go to school. They told me that she was going to go to Agua Dulce. So I drove to Agua Dulce. I noticed there was some traffic. Then I drove to Meadowlark. There was less traffic, and the school looked newer. So me as the parent, I came in thinking I was going to change Acton. Well, 10 years on the school board, and I haven't been able to do that, so I don't know what I was thinking then. But I went and met with Miss Gonder. I was going to request that Kendra could go to that school for any number of reasons. Miss Gonder is a respecter of the law, every law, any law. She told me that the dividing line was Red Rover Mine Road, and that I lived on Red Rover Mine Road, so my request would be arbitrarily declined. I told Miss Gonder, I live on the east side of Red Rover Mine Road, and I would never live on Red Rover Mine Road because that would subject my family to being hit by horses, gravel haulers, cars, and just general traffic. Miss Gonder looked at me. Miss Gonder was not very tall. I was afraid nonetheless. Miss Gonder told me, I have seen you 1,000 times before, Mr. Fallsgraf. She knew how to spell my name, which means, or say my name, which means that she had done some background on me and found my numerous and every life deficit, up to including the one I was about to make. Miss Gonder said, I have seen you 1,000 times before. The face was different. Many things were different, but that devious look in the eye, I've seen it before. I will not hear your name. I will not hear your child's name ever, or you will go to the school you're supposed to go to. You'll be on exemplary behavior, just like I was tonight, right? And I never messed with Miss Gonder. Do not mess with Miss Gonder. I am still afraid of Miss Gonder. So she would always show up years later. She was the founding principal of Meadow Lark School. Miss Gonder is the example of school administration. 3, welcome Miss Money, Mrs. Money. Young man, what should I call her? Ooh, this is your moment. Everything that's ever happened to you can be fixed right here. Welcome. I'm going to do my year-end summary. Back there where we can't talk about things, we sometimes hear student issues. And that is the least favorite part of doing this. I like graduation. I like looking at the hope of the community and knowing that the different places I go, the kids that come out of this town are going to be excellent out there. But sometimes back there, it is very difficult to make life-changing decisions that you know have to be made. Sometimes you have lawyers telling you, you have to do this. You cannot suspend this kid right away. This kid has this kid has that. There are all kinds of legal issues, and we can't come out here. And sometimes the decisions that we're having to make and vote for are unpopular, trust me. But this year has been characterized by almost a complete lack of any issues back there about students. Am I wrong? Good, I never have been, so let's not start now. What a ridiculous thing to say. Why? Why is it that we have this? I'm characterizing the performance. This is your performance evaluation, you guys. And it's too bad that Lester ran away and that these people were afraid to get their performance evaluation tonight. That was a joke. The moral fiber of this community, the youth of this community, start off with the idea that you should not be dishonest, that you should be fair in the treatment of your fellow man. That's what this community is really all about. What happens when that's not cool anymore? Well, we have the We Care program. Now I'm going to dive into an empty swimming pool. Too many of these programs, these mental health programs, actually take and characterize people and divide them and sort them into neat little groups and call it diversity or whatever you call it, in which the individual characteristics of a group of people is characterized and never seen as an addition. I've asked the question, do I have to get a lawyer to find out that my kid is identifying as a kitten in this world in our town? And the answer is no. I don't see people being slotted and characterized and held up on a flag because they are what they are, just as I am what I am. These programs that do that are horrific failures, and they make isolation even worse. No one would say that but me. I remember saying mental health used to be, it started with a 5150 at the high school or lower. When the ambulance shows up and throws somebody in a straitjacket, do you know what happens to that kid for the rest of their life? Do you know what happens to their family? We don't have that here. This isn't some program that somebody just thought up because it's trendy, because they heard the buzz phrase at the conference they went to. I remember, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't care who's up there making decisions and showboating by pulling funding and making people reapply for grants. We made a commitment. You might remember one night, go back and find it. The people from the CAC and the SELPA meeting were in here. Does anybody remember this? The new director of the SELPA told us what her life has been, raising a child that required complete 24/7 mental health care. Our own district representative talked about their IEP when they were young and what it was, how difficult it was to move ahead and find out that some of these things that our kids have are generational and inherited. And meanwhile, the President of the United States, whoever it is, unless it's me, I really don't care who it is up there playing around, and we got so much money laying on the table. When I started up here, I'm going to beat it again because there's some people who don't like this. I don't care. The district's revenue was coming from charter school by any kind of a scam, and there was virtually no measure in those schools. There's always been charter schools. There's always been great charter schools, and there are charter schools that reach people that no one else can reach and put people in jobs and provide the level of support that's very specialized, including these types of programs. These types of programs used to be odd and few and far between, and now they're normalized to the point where it's okay to be a human being and not be slotted and bullied and all of that thing. That, your program and your colleagues' program, is the reason why we didn't have hardly anything back there. All the fights, all the suspensions, all the dope, everything goes right back to this. Thank you very much. But while we're being up here, we don't know if we're going to get the funding. We don't know what we're going to. This was very important to me. I had the least functioning child in the district for a decade. I had one of the highest functioning children in the decade that lived with a special needs child. Everything the SPED people deal with in this district, it's okay to be you in this district. So I had a great diversity. One of them just got her JD. She will have her MBA at the end of the year. She's 26 years old, and she is straight out of Acton, and everybody at law school and everybody at UCLA knows where she came from, just like every graduate we have. That is the magnitude of your program. Back to that meeting, the message was, whether you got it from me or not, I brought the SELPA in here, I brought the new director in here and said, you make your commitment at Little Owls. Was Little Owls ever supposed to open? I told you the DSA had shut it down. Nobody wanted it open because, again, they're too full for the charter school. Matt, I hate to put you on parade here, but how long have you been in public education?
My 30th year.
Imagine that. He's not renting a room over there to make it look like he's running some. Would you characterize your graduating class as something to be proud of at SCVI?
Very much so. All our graduates.
Is it not a desired place in the Santa Clarita Valley?
Very highly so.
Exactly. And how many times do you need to come to me to rent you a room tonight to make sure that you can operate over there? Is your charter based on public demand?
100%.
Imagine that. So if that's the only question I've had to ask, could you be employed at the superintendent level in a regular public school? The answer is yes. You're good. Don't worry about it. So why did this happen? Why did we have the funding? Number one, because I had a board that would agree to provide the funding regardless of somebody in the White House who don't even know what this town is. was going to make a decision that was going to impact. We lost $4.1 million a year in funding that we should have never had. This gentleman over here wrote the grants. He come out of title programs at the county Office of Education level, went out to public education. There's some propeller head student intern that works in the department I work at who, the minute I said the school he used to be the principal of, freaked out. She is trying to get a teaching credential. This man has impacted generation after generation of student. Miss Elizabeth, the students you impacted this year will affect generation after generation of people. Your association with the SELPA, the SPED people, all this thing, there's a big team out here, and they don't have to be in the boundaries here to make sure that we all come together and give kids what they need when the need arises. So, too many people sit up here in these positions and they don't know their lane. Oh, I got my ear close to the ground at the school. My kid's going to be the football captain regardless of what. I know that game. So, we up here have to stay in our lane. We have one employee, it's him. Would you want to work for me? I'm going to send my employees to the We Care program. But imagine this. She's stretching pennies. He builds buildings in LA, and they're both down there fighting about pavement. That's the level of look here, but we don't tell staff what to do, and staff does not need to be told what to do. Believe it or not, they existed just fine, and they'll exist just fine before I got here, when I got here, and after I got here. There's a great deal of competence. I'd like to thank our student rep, Autumn Klaus. That position is very difficult to navigate if you don't know how to stay in your lane, and she's worked very hard to do that this year. There was a lot said right there. So how does all this happen? Well, I can tell the superintendent, you just lost all this money, but you better make sure, because Elizabeth, because I had a special needs child, you better find a way to do that, and it's important because somehow I'm the ruler of the world in this area right up here. No. How did you find the money? Where did the money come from if the funding was going to be cut? Look at the fund balance. That money has been laying around since charters for such a long time because we are very conservative with the money. So where did the money come from, do you think? I'll tell you. That one down there at the end, Brianna, beauty pageant queen, Miss Acton, decided that because the power company was turning off our power based on a sensor that was put in when the gold spike was put in 1864. Fact check me, young man. The sensor is up there. They turn off our power. We have commuter parents. Guess what? Work-life balance begins with work. You have to go to work, and you're halfway there, and you get a call, oh, the school's going to be shut down because the power company didn't tell the high school that they were going to be without power. Total inconvenience. If you want to see the effects of lack of continuum in education, where you learn one day, you learn the next day, young man, pay attention to this. You learn one day, the teacher comes back and says the same thing the next day, and you wonder, is the person losing it? No, they're trying to beat it in the heads of the kids that don't get it. Day after day after day. Old thing, new thing, introduce the next new thing. Make sure, I don't know how kids do this with 30 and 50 kids in a classroom. But the power was being turned off. Loss of continuum of education. You're looking at the result of that right here. You throw ADHD in with that, you have a problem. She's down there going, we're losing money. Our numbers were terrible. If you want to rate the president's performance this year, look at the change in butts and seats funding. I don't hand out compliments. This is not Valentine's Day. Every year we rotate presidency. That was at my hand. I don't need somebody getting comfortable with the superintendent where we have these comfy contracts with no measurement. It causes for board corruption, just like ignoring individuals and bullying them because somehow you're better than them. So when the board transfers through, so she found the money, staff found the money by finding a way to tell the parents, listen, get your kid online. There's no replacement for a teacher giving you personalized attention and figuring out that you need to study with that kid. There's an art to that. But staff came through after the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee figured out we can't run a generator. We can't afford a generator. I was in the audience in 2012 and 13 watching the development of the high school, wondering what's going on with that grading contract, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, Facilities and Finance says we should try to get a generator. We should try to come up with a means of having the power company. Well, Acton is not the cultural capital of the world. Sorry, it was going to be the capital of California. Can you imagine that? I'd be the governor automatically that way. At the end of it, they beat themselves up trying to figure out how to get the money. Bill, ready? It's test time. What was the minimum expenditure to put one generator at one property?
A lot. I don't remember the exact number. Do you remember?
Well, make one up, dude. You're a politician now. Let's go. Could
Yeah,
you
it's
do
like-
it for
it's-
$1 million?
It was like $500,000 for one generator.
And what would the effect have been on what would have been the educational impact? What would it have done to busing? What would it have done to come up with a half
Right,
a
it
million?
would have, we would not have been able to get the new buses. We probably would not have been able to do some of these projects that we have on this board. based off of
Imagine that. Dumpy schools, Williams lawsuit reports, et cetera, et cetera. So where'd the money come from? Staff and Brianna figured out how to get kids in a seat, whether it's in front of a computer. And in the process, parents were figured out, hey, I can participate in this. Yelling at your kid does nothing for math comprehension. Trust me, I'm a product of that. Along those lines, parents, you have to understand something. From the time your child is in a special day class, pre-K, TK, whatever it is, until they finally get out of 12th grade, guess what? And I don't mean to demean anyone, but this is the education system. What is, I have a PhD. I have a public high school diploma. So at the end of the day, what does that do in the job market today? Think about that. So your kid has a full-time job from the time they might be 3, 4, 5, definitely by the time they're 6 years old. They have a full-time job that's to go sit in a classroom, and that is to spend the next 12 or 14 years of their life being a professional student. If their parents could understand that, that would be significant. But sometimes it's dismissed. Nobody makes. You will develop your relationship with your children if you can take out that concept very young. I'm almost halfway done. I hear the gasps. Our financial pathway is in place because we have subcommittees. The subcommittees address issues. They get issues out on the table. It's not the annual LCAP meeting where one person shows up. This is an opportunity for everybody to take a look at programs that are being developed. If you are wanting to be on the school board, you should be watching the library of subcommittee meetings. You should be looking at where do I fit in. I've been navigating high-level politics for 25 or 30 years, and I didn't know what I was doing when I started, and it has a very steep learning curve. Brianna, I'm not going to go into what she was talking about, but she knows what it's like to be personally responsible for the eyes to go on you when somebody goes, wait a minute, who is supposed to look at this? She's been doing that her entire life. She's raised productive students. as our children. Like I said, Bill is down in the LA market where, I mean, you know, this has to be made out of a plant or something. I don't even understand. So we have a great deal of experience here with what we do, and we're so fortunate to have the staff we have. We basically do nothing except whine to him till we figure out he knows what he's doing anyway. Welcome aboard. Incredible for you to bring your family. The next time you complain about something being boring, I want you to remember this moment. Guys, you've had an incredible year. I would like to thank Brianna Taxoni for being the president this year that only she could be. Tissues. This duck, were you behind the duck? That's on her. I have a terrible experience with ducks. It was actually very fun. Bill, thank you guys. Thank you, everyone.
I'll be a bit shorter, like 10 minutes. No. So, Ms. Salcedo, congratulations. Thank you for being here. Family, thank you for being here. We appreciate you showing up. That means a lot. That shows that your family cares, you care. Very much appreciate it. Ernesto, it's been really good working with you this year. You've got a lot of stuff accomplished. And every time we ask you to get us new numbers, get us new items, you take care of it. I really appreciate all the help you've given us. Going to the graduations that we all attended, like Ken said earlier, it's my favorite time of the year, being able to stand up on stage. From the high school, you have the firm handshakes. Junior high, they're a little bit less. And then you get down to elementary and they're like, oh, what are we doing here? But it's always fun, right? And just all the staff, thank you all. I'm sad that in November I'm out. So I have a few more months to do what I can do. But, you know, the boundary maps make it so I can't be here anymore. Anyways, thank you again. Everybody have a good summer, and it's all you.
All right, so I was able to attend all 4 graduation promotion ceremonies. I almost didn't get to come to the kindergarten one, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did. I really, really miss working with little kids because, oh my gosh, they are so cute. Very cool to have our very first kindergarten promotion ceremony. Absolutely adorable, and those parents are so cute, like just taking all of the pictures like their kid is going off to college, and it was just really, really fun to see those kids. And Meadowlark, always fun, always adorable. And then moving on to High Desert, very well put together. Those kids are like little professionals. They always do a great promotion up there. Vasquez was beautiful. And it is really fun to see the kids that, you know, I've seen these kids grow up, some of them since before they even entered kindergarten, and then they're up there graduating. So it's just so very cool. There were 3 of us. There were 3 of us on the board that had kids graduating from Vasquez, and I know George's daughter promoted from 8th grade, so it was really fun for all of us to be able to have that personal touch too. So congratulations to all the graduates. And I did just double check with Dr. Sahakian. Our graduation rate for the 4th year in a row, 100%. That's crazy, crazy bonkers. That's a testament to all the way down from kindergarten on up, and then the staff at Vasquez, teachers, and I know those counselors work their behinds off to get those kids to graduate. So good job, staff at Vasquez, counselors, families. That's for the 4th year in a row. That's like unheard of. That's crazy. So huge kudos. I probably had more, but I'm just going to go on to the Margaret Gonder legacy fund. I think it's pretty rare for somebody to go to elementary school and then grow up to work with their elementary school principal. Bert Ernesto and I both did. We both came to work for the district right out of high school, and we both went to Acton Elementary with Margaret. I was in first grade when I started Acton Elementary, and Margaret was my principal. So first grade to sixth grade, and I did 2 fourth grades. So it was, she was my principal for a while, and I didn't find her as scary as Ken found her, but she was definitely full of class, and she was always beautiful, and you knew when Margaret stepped into a room, when Mrs. Gonder stepped into a room, even if you had your back turned, the room went silent. She had the utmost respect for and from all of the students and the staff. She was just absolutely phenomenal principal. And then at 18 years old, I started working at Meadowlark, and she was my boss and mentor, and she was every bit of like the phenomenal person that she is. And I consider myself very, very blessed. She told me a story of how Meadowlark was named. I don't know if I've ever told this story. She said her office was the office right up here, looking out the front windows, I believe, somewhere up there. Yeah, right up there. And she said that she would sit in her office and look out the windows, and meadowlarks would always fly around. There was always a ton of meadowlarks. So it took about 10 years to develop that from the time that she originally had the idea that we needed another elementary school, and Meadowlark came about. It was about 10 years in planning until it actually opened. And the whole time, every time that she would be working on anything Meadowlark related, the meadowlarks would sit out there, and that's how Meadowlark got its name, because of the meadowlarks that would sit outside Margaret Gonder's window. So tidbit of information. She's fantastic, just phenomenal woman. And yes, if you have never met her, that's a bummer for you. She's great. I'll go on and say different stories later, maybe when we actually name some benefits of her fund. I have tons of stories. Some of those pictures that were up, I remember when they were taken. The picture of her on the slide and the swings, and there's a picture of her sitting on a steer, and we actually went to one of the farms in Acton to take yearbook pictures, and she's just phenomenal. Always up. She never said no. It was, sure, what do you want me to do?
Kidding.
What?
She said no to me. I guess that's me.
I thought you said you were allowed to go there. No?
Where? We're talking about Miss Gonder never saying no. Oh, boy. Anyway, I'm sorry.
She never said no to me. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I will just cut that short. I could really, really go on and on with story after story. I just love her. Just absolutely love that woman. But I'll stop for the sake of time. 10, calendar. We have a special board meeting on June 30th. That will be to interview any board candidates for our open position. That would be Lester's position that he vacated, the district number 2. We are still accepting applications for the open board position until June 19th, June 20th? June 22nd. June 22nd, if you live in District 2, which is this area, it's District 4? I'm sorry, thank you, Yolanda. Thank you for correcting me. If you live in District 4, which is this area, put in an application and come have some fun with us. It is a good time. And then our first regular meeting of the 2026-27 school year is August 13th. Do we have any other discussion on calendar?
For the special board meeting, would we be able to do that at 5:30? Are you good with 5:30?
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right,
Is it
so
okay,
we'll have the
5:30?
facilities and finance will be at 4, and then the special board meeting will be at 5:30.
Sounds good. I'll put at 5:30. Beautiful. Future agenda items. We don't have any future agenda items listed. Do we have anything that we need to add? Hearing none, moving on. It's recommended that the board adjourn the meeting at 9:05 PM. I'll move. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye.